Hi, Shanna Rowe Jackson here from Caution Arts That Play, and since it is officially 2021, thank the Lord, I thought that it would be a great time to reflect on 2020. And this is something that I do every new year. I always like to look back on the year prior and just kind of see what I did that year, especially artistically. And 2020 was a rough year. It was a horrible year for everyone. And I know that I was very fortunate that my life wasn't affected as deeply as some other people's lives. However, we were all affected, and because of that, it's been really difficult on my anxiety and my overall mental health. And so this year I thought it was more important than ever to look back on 2020 and reflect in a positive way and try to find those positives. I actually had a lot of big things happen for me in 2020, and they definitely didn't happen the way they were planned. My plans were definitely affected in that aspect by everything going on. However, they still did happen, and I graduated. I have my degree in art, and that's something that I haven't really talked a whole lot about on my channel. You've heard me mention it, but yeah, the beginning of the year was kind of very hectic for me, and I didn't get the chance to really reflect on what an accomplishment that was. And so for my own mental health, I thought that this would be a great time to reflect on not only that accomplishment, but my favorite projects that I did over the year. And so I wanted to share that with you. And I am hoping that you are also able to look back on 2020 and find some positives in your own life, and that hopefully you will also be able to look forward in 2021 with hope. And I'm hoping that this year is much better than the dumpster fire of 2020, and that by this time next year things will be way different and will be hopefully out of the thick of things. So you are going to be seeing my top favorite projects of 2020, and I hope that you enjoy this video. Thank you for watching. So I just want to start off by reflecting a little bit on the fact that I graduated and I got my degree in art. It was quite an accomplishment for me, being someone who didn't go to school until 10 years out of high school, and it was a 5-year accomplishment for me. I went to school full-time for 5 years to get my bachelor's in art, and it was a wonderful experience. I was not able to have a formal graduation. However, I did end up being able to do my senior thesis exhibition later than planned. I graduated in May, and I couldn't do my senior thesis exhibition until the fall. And that's also where they presented me the award that I just showed you, which was something that the art faculty nominated me for my helpfulness in the classroom and for basically just being there for my fellow students and my faculty members. And yeah, it was kind of cool. It was great to have an award, and I did not expect that. So you're seeing images of my senior thesis exhibition now, and this was the culmination of a full semester's work where I put together a series of artwork based on skies in different shapes and forms, and basically to show the vastness of skies and I don't know, the nostalgia it brings me when I personally look at skies. And we initially had our senior thesis exhibition online, and then, as I mentioned before, later on we were able to finally do an in-person exhibition, and they had a small opening which was socially distant. We all wore masks. We couldn't have a certain amount of people in the building at the time, and it was wonderful, and that ended up being my closure for me. That was pretty much my graduation. And so I just wanted to start off with talking about my favorite projects by showing you some of my favorite pieces from that exhibition. And this one is the only one that I recorded during that time and you saw on my channel.
it was in a video about doing a landscape in acrylics on a round canvas. I will link any videos that are related to any of the artworks shown here in the description below. But this one is called Gaining Perspective, and it's from one of my favorite places to visit in Acadia National Park. And it just brings back so many fond memories since I haven't been able to visit there lately. This next one is called As Evening Falls, and it was done from a photo I took in my own backyard, and I really love the luminance of the sky at night. And this was also a piece that I did from the same spot, and it's just really dealing with light in different ways. And that's why I love these pieces so much. I experimented with light in ways that I didn't, and it was interesting to be able to show luminance even in darkness, and that was a great experiment for me. And this one is also one of my favorites. I call this one Worship. And in this one, I really learned a lot about airbrush techniques, and it's one of my overall favorites from the entire series. I just love the light in it. And that's basically the main theme of my skies, is capturing light and capturing the essence of light. This piece was one that actually took me over a year. I started this back in 2019, but between my YouTube videos and my schoolwork and everything else, I didn't have a whole lot of time to work on it. So I worked on it in small increments, and it took me over a year to accomplish. It is an 18 by 36 canvas, so it's quite large, and it's probably my most accomplished landscape piece to date. And I did not record myself filming it because the setup just would not have been easy, and I just really wanted to relax and create it and not have to worry about filming. But it is one of my favorites. This one is one that you may recognize, and this is when I decided to customize my 20-year-old Scrabble board. My husband and I really like playing Scrabble, especially when the power goes out around here, because sometimes we have really snowy winters and we have some pretty dark nights with no power, so we play Scrabble by candlelight a lot. And I wanted to, since this is a board that I've had since I was a teenager, I really wanted to do something to customize it to make it mine and his. And so that's what you're seeing me do here, and I did do a video on this one, and I will link that. Some of the pieces I'm going to show I did not videotape, and so they might be new to you if you are viewers of my channel. And so I did my best to try and incorporate them in interesting ways in this video, even though I didn't have video footage. But this is one of my favorite projects of the year because it was just so much fun and so different. And I was inspired by a lot of the customization videos that were going on the internet at the time. And I just enjoyed myself so much. It was nice to do something just fun and kind of crafty with no pressure. And there is the finished board. And we have played it since because we have had a power outage. You may remember this piece from my video on where I tried Casein for the first time. I tried a lot of different mediums this year, and it was really great. I did try a lot of different techniques and mediums and things that I hadn't tried before, and that's one thing that I'm grateful for 2020. And I just really enjoyed the way that this came out, and I fell in love with Casein. So you'll see more Casein paintings from me in the future. But I had taken this reference photo a few years ago, and I just love how classic it is. You know, just the classic still life, and I really loved the lighting. And I was really proud of it considering I had never used this medium before. And so that is one reason why I decided to put that in this video. And yeah, there it is in all its glory, my Casein pear. So the next project is one that I did not videotape. This one is actually a keepsake box that I made my father out of an old Whitman sampler box. He buys me Whitman samplers for like everything because he knows I love chocolate. And I had kept the box, and I decided to make him a keepsake box for Father's Day. And I did it using hot glue. That's what I did the design with, and then I used some gold and black paint to make it look pewter, which is an idea that I got from a video that I saw by the frugal crafter Lindsay. She had done some earrings on cardboard making them look pewter. And so once I had gotten the design down, I thought, wow, pewter would look great on this particular box. And then I filled it with a bunch of photographs from my childhood and memories of me and my dad together, and I wrote different messages on the backs of each of the photographs so that he can look at it whenever we can't be near each other, which we haven't been able to be around each other as much with the pandemic going on. So it was a really special project, and I was really happy to do it. You may recognize this piece as a piece that I did from my Versatility of Acrylics video. And this one, I just had so much fun creating. I love the way it came out, and I was really excited when I had taken the reference photo a while back. And so I just really, really enjoyed creating this piece, and so that's why it's one of my favorites. Here is the infamous Bob Ross with his COVID hairstyle. The next project is when I decided to paint my Bob Ross Chia Pet, because clearly I could not grow it. And I just love this project. It's so far out of my comfort zone, so different from other things that I normally do. I'm usually a 2D artist, and I just had a blast with this. And now I have a very unique Bob Ross statue in my studio. He's varnished, he's nice and shiny now, and I love it. I have him right in my studio, and I see him every day when I go up there, and I am so happy I did that, and I think he looks much better this way than he did with his crazy hairdo. Okay, so you may also recognize this one as well. This one is where I fell in love with oil pastels, and I never thought that was going to happen. And I simultaneously fell in love with the Luxe Archival sanded paper. It's a great paper to use oil pastels with. And even though it's made for colored pencil. Yeah, like I said, I tried a lot of different mediums in 2020, and this one, it really surprised me how much I liked it. It's so tactile and so immediate and so much fun. It's so messy, and I just love the consistency, and you'll definitely see more of this from me in the future. I've got a larger set of oil pastels now, and I will be creating more this year. And I'm actually really surprised at how well it came out, because I just didn't have that high of expectations for my skills with oil pastels. Okay, so this is another one that I did on my channel as well. This one is my inspiration box, and I do plan on doing a video soon where I utilize this inspiration box. Basically, I took an old box I had in the studio and I customized it, and I put a bunch of different pieces of papers with prompts and ideas on them, and that way there I can pick through them and pick out ideas when I need something fun and creative to do. So I actually just recently sold this painting, and I'm very excited about that. This is in here because this is where I discovered how much I love using water-based markers on panel. I don't think I'll ever go back to paper. And yeah, it's the encaustic board, and it worked really, really surprisingly well with markers. And so that's why I put this piece in here. It was just very, very exciting discovery for me. This is another one that I did not film, and this one is way different than my regular style. My nephew asked me to make him a skateboard for his birthday. Well, I didn't make the skateboard itself. I customized the skateboard. I bought it, and then I customized it for him. And it's very much to his specifications. Well, I shouldn't say his specifications. He left it wide open to me, but I decided to create something that fits, obviously, his tastes. And that's why you're seeing a Grim Reaper and music notes and flames. It's very, very much his kind of taste, and it was a blast to create. I love this. This is one of my top favorite projects because, again, it's not something that's my typical 2D art. I stepped outside of my comfort zone, I experimented, and I learned new techniques and new ways to prep different surfaces, and it was just all around a good time, and he loved it. I think the best things are the gifts that I've made, because seeing somebody else's reaction to something I've created for them is just the best feeling. And he was so excited, and yeah, I'm ecstatic about it. It's awesome how happy he was. So the next one on my list here, not that this is in any particular order, is my recent painting of a deer in acrylics. And while I didn't fall in love with this particular acrylic, these are the Golden Open acrylics, I did fall in love with the finished piece. I'm very proud of it, and I was really, really excited when I got the reference photos. It was very magical for me to get pictures of baby deer out in my backyard. I love photography. It goes hand in hand with my work, being a realism artist especially, and I take most of my own photos. And so this was like a milestone for me to get picture of deer, and that is one reason why I just love this piece so much, because right from the moment I got the reference photos through painting it, I just was ecstatic and very, very pleased with the whole process. So this is another one that I did for a video where I used all of my metallic art supplies, and I love this one because it captures my dog's attitude perfectly. He is a bit of a diva. He's a Chihuahua, and he has an attitude, and he thinks he's magical. And so this one was just so much fun. Again, it's something different. It's not my usual realism. It's more illustrative, but it was just such a blast to do. It was no pressure, and it was so shimmery and beautiful when it was done, and I was really, really proud of how much I made it look like my dog. Even though it's metallic, and so I just can't say enough about how much fun this was. And I think that's important to kind of balance the more serious pieces with the more fun pieces, and I think I did a good job in 2020 of doing that. There's the shimmer. And there he is in all his glory. So this one is probably my most accomplished Inktense piece of all time, and as far as realism goes. And Inktense is one of my all-time favorite mediums to work with, so this one was just a lot of fun, and you guys will probably recognize this one. I actually had 2 videos on this one because it was a long one. It was very detailed, and so it took a lot of time, so I had to split it up between 2 different videos talking about how to create leaves in Inktense and how to create apples in Inktense. And so that's on my channel, and I will also link that if you are curious about it. But I was so pleased with this, and I had taken the reference photo out in my own yard. We have some apple trees in my yard, and so these are our apples, and it just brings me back to nice warm fall days. Fall is my favorite, and so it's just one of my overall favorite pieces this year. Of course, everything in this video is. So I did quite a bit. There's actually quite a few pieces that I did this year that are not in this video, believe it or not. So this one is a bit of a sneak peek because I have not posted the full video on this yet. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with this footage as far as a video in and of itself. But this is my most recent colored pencil piece. It is a pretty realistic piece of a fall still life, and I actually started it in November and didn't finish it until December because I have a day job and I can't work on my artwork all day every day as much as I would love to. But it's definitely one of my favorite pieces of 2020, and it's hard to decide on a favorite piece this year because I worked in so many different mediums, but this one is definitely up there as far as me growing my skill level in colored pencil. So this next piece is actually a very special piece, and this is the piece that I'm going to end the video on, and that is the only portrait I think I did in 2020. I believe it is. I may be wrong though, but it is a very special portrait of my husband's best friend, Dan, who passed away years ago, and I did this for Dan's sister. And it was just very, very special because I've heard all kinds of wonderful stories about him, but I never had the chance to meet him. And this felt a little bit like me getting to know him. And it was very special for his sister. It was very special for my husband. And I think that I really accomplished a likeness here. And it just was a very special piece. And so I was very grateful to have had the opportunity to do this piece. Okay, so that's kind of my 2020 in reflection art-wise. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too rambly or boring, but like I said, I thought it was important to kind of look back on things and just appreciate the good that happened in my life as far as art goes, and I hope that you all can look back the same way and that you were able to still create despite everything that was going on. I know sometimes it's hard to stay inspired when the world seems to be burning down around you, so I'm hoping that you have a new full year of creativity. I hope that you have some dreams come true this year and that you accomplish your goals. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit subscribe. Also, if you're interested in seeing more of my artwork, I'm on social media, so check out the links in the description below.